Hello and welcome to the Lost Art Podcast. I'm Paul and I am here with Gar.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Today I bought Tetley tea bags.
Oh, Gar.
I know. Listen, it was like €4 for 160 of them. And I'm sick of running out of tea bags. I had to, and they're all right.
In your defence, I do buy Earl Grey sometimes.
Earl Grey, isn't that like wood, isn't it? Bergamot wood. Isn't that what Earl Grey is?
I think it's some flower or something.
Is it? Maybe it's the flower off that tree or something.
Sure, yeah.
It's something weird, and I don't know.
Tetley though, what's Tetley like? Like, to be honest with you, I'm about moving out of. People got Jesus. People are already tuning out now. I'm all about moving away from Lions and Barry's all the time.
Yeah, see, I'm a big Barry's head. I like Barry's tea. Lions, something pissy about it. And then when I found out they were sponsoring Greyhound racing and their bags are made of plastic, I was like, I don't know if I'm into this anymore.
I don't like.
Yeah, Lions.
I have I drink. Jesus, it's a great start to this fucking podcast. I drink Lily's tea. It's like a little Irish brand.
Oh yeah, I might be into that. Now the only reason I got these is because there's a little Costco around the corner from me. That's the worst shop in the history of the world. There's one bloke who works there who is just constantly on his phone, and every time I go in there and I see him, I'm like, oh, what's he gonna fuck up today? Every single time he's like texting someone or on the phone to someone when he's trying to serve you, and then he ends up like charging a choice for something, or fucking 3 times today he charged me for. I bought one scratch card and he charged me 3 times for it. And then last week I bought a box of smokes, he charged me for 2 boxes of smokes. And I'm standing there going like, if you just put down the fucking phone, man, when you're in work, what job allows you to be talking? But anyway, they went in there and they didn't have any I like buying the Barry's fucking black label, like stronger, you know. I hate tea that's pissy. There's something worse than pissy tea. You want to be able that dry, starchy shit in your mouth, you know. But they only had the red berries, which is fine in it if you're stuck. And I was like, fucking, I was looking at it, it was like £4 for like 40 of them. I was like, that's a lot of money, man. Like, it's not really when you break it down, but it's a tiny poxy box. And they had one of these big, ignorant, like deal-sized fucking brick, fucking Tetley, like, something you throw out of a fucking plane with a parachute attached to it.
Answer me this, it's not the same company as the beer company from England.
No, I don't think so. Right. I could be fucking wrong. I don't know anything about that. But I used to drink Tetley years ago. And the reason I used to drink Tetley years ago is because I remember FHM magazine had a competition as to who made the best tea in England, and Tetley won it. And from that day onwards, I always bought Tetley because they were like, oh, listen, the tannin factor, it gets real dark real quick, which it does.
Campbell's is better. Campbell's is better than that, even.
I'm sure it is, but fucking, listen, like I said, it was like £4 for like 160 tea bags. Hopefully I won't need tea bags for a while. I'm not even a big tea guy. It's just sometimes every night you fucking sit down and I might let like the pigeons out and let the parrot attack me, the war parrot.
No, it's nice to have a little ritual with a bit of a cup of hot. It is. It's comforting.
The problem is the minute it gets in any way like to a good temperature now, I just mill it. I'm not one of these. Like, I'm not.
I have to heat the milk up, so I don't do that.
Really?
I have to actually heat the milk up in the microwave while I'm preparing the coffee or tea, so that I don't drink it in one go. So I physically have to stop myself doing that. Yeah.
That's one of the things when I move to black coffee, it puts manners on you. You know what I mean? Really does.
Yeah, burn the mouth off you.
Yeah.
Should we tell them what we're going to do?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is something that we, again, the usual bullshit, the usual spiel, something we talked about for ages between ourselves, and it's something that we want to move into doing a little bit more, and we want to start doing more kind of retrospective collective or collection podcasts. We've done it before a little bit with the goth one, and we done one about
we had a bit of a goth perspective.
Exactly.
Retrospective.
Just a little bit of the key bands in any particular genre or movement. We've done like 80s hip hop and stuff like that. Just a little bit more, as opposed to being focused on a gimmick, maybe focused on a style or a genre of music. And this week we wanted to do indie. Now, indie. The problem with indie is that
huge.
Yeah, indie's not really a style of music, right? It's hard to remember that as well, because I up until God knows when, indie to me was a style of music. It was wholeheartedly British. It was kind of jangly guitars and floppy hair, shit like that. But the more I kind of grew and started listening to more music and start reading reviews, and they were like, "Oh, this indie band from blah blah blah." I was like, "There's nothing fucking
like, indie."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, what we've done for this is I put together a couple of kind of key notes about indie before we get into this, because the playlist is fucking mad and it's all over the place.
Yeah, we went in different ways, but I kind of like that because it keeps people on their toes. I don't know what that means. You can listen to this sitting down, but I'll tell people what approach I took. But I like taking two different approaches in the same podcast, to be honest.
Oh, exactly. But it keeps it interesting as well. Yeah. So, like, indie itself, okay, indie obviously is short for independent, and it originated in the 70s, and it kind of popped up. It kind of started in the UK and the US roughly around the same time. It's got a similar kind of evolution to kind of punk, okay? And it has its toes in the punk world. It definitely comes from the punk world.
Oh yeah.
And basically what it is bands that were kind of unsigned or signed to independent record labels, like tiny record labels. So what happened was, like, I'm not going to break any sort of rules by giving everybody who my first band is on this, and I'll move into the band in a minute when I explain this, but the roots of indie are kind of linked back to the Buzzcocks. The Buzzcocks are one of the first bands to have universal praise for self-releasing a record. So now what you have to understand as well is that even though it started in the US and the UK roughly at the same time, America being America and the UK being the UK, they both kind of have their own little colloquialisms about it, and that it kind of stopped being called indie in America and it started being called alternative. And this is to do with...
That's even broader than indie.
This is exactly. So the US start calling it alternative music, and this is down to like college radio stations taking a whole...
Yeah, you're right. Eventually, I was like, if you even if you type in alternative music now to, let's say, Spotify, you're getting what I would consider indie bands. Like 100%. It's not grungy, because grungy was only a bit of alternative music. Exactly. So it muddied the waters a lot.
Big time. Like I said, this is not a genre. This is not a style of music. This is more of it's almost like a movement as opposed to a style.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have the common thread of being independent for half of these bands.
Exactly. Exactly. It's almost like it's the Rolling Stone effect, where the bands that influenced kind of modern bands and bands of the last 20, 30 years, they all started off by being released by independent record labels. They were underground bands essentially, which is where it came from.
But thankfully, people know what we're getting at with this indie thing. They're like, yeah, I get it. There's bands that are being called indie that I wouldn't consider. There's bands that don't call themselves I would consider indie. Yeah.
Exactly. So the alternative thing kind of mostly came around, being dubbed alternative mostly came around in the 90s. And this is because a lot of the bands that were independent had at this stage moved into the mainstream. So you ended up with your bands like your fucking REMs and your Stone Roses and your blah, blah, blah. They were all fucking big at this stage. They couldn't really be called independent because they were signed to big record labels. In a lot of cases, they hunted down big record contracts because they were sick of dealing with the little small guys. So this is where your kind of indie meets alternative kind of splits away, and it splits so many times that you end up with like all these little subgenres like lo-fi and post-rock and jangle pop, and the list is literally goes on and on and on and on. And around the 2000s, it starts coming back around again, where we talked about this before with like the Strokes and stuff like that, where around the early 2000s you have this another big resurgence of what could be called indie bands, where there was like this kind of... There was this almost nostalgia for the late 70s and early 80s, where a lot of bands where they wanted to self-release stuff and they went out and they toured off their own back again. Like, once again, very, very punk rock. And a lot of them got signed, and we ended up with our White Stripes and this kind of malarkey on and on and on. It kind of meant something again, because they were putting out stuff on independent labels and self-release and stuff, and then you had the internet, which meant that if they were smart enough about it, the internet was in essence an independent label where they could put their stuff out whenever the fuck they wanted,
and people would like go, oh my god, that's great music. Now you're like, can you please listen to my band? And they're like, no,
exactly,
no. Jesus. Fuck, I'm not going to get into the whole idea. Giving music to the internet away for free, and them going, tell me more. Convince me why I should listen to this. And going, oh, you cunts. Remember you used to be digging around looking for fucking records? Fuck you.
Exactly. So the way I always looked at it, and I don't know whether I'm alone at this, is that I always thought like alternative music was kind of on the heavier side, like you said, the kind of grungier and the more rocky side, and indie was more into the kind of jangly, fucking British kind of Smiths and fucking, I don't even know, the La's and stuff. That's the way I always found it. But like, that was just me having the pigeonhole stuff in my head. Everybody pigeonholes indie. Exactly.
There's no choice but
So that's the way, for me, that's the way I always kind of put them. But like, I've been doing my best for years now to understand that like indie is a mindset and a concept as opposed to a genre of music. So as I mentioned, the Buzzcocks, the first ever indie release is considered to be Spiral Scratch by the Buzzcocks, which was the first record I think they might have ever released, and they put out themselves. They printed up like 6,000 copies of it, I think, and it sold. They ended up printing, I think, 16,000. I have, when I move on to the Buzzcocks now in a second, I'll give you all those details. I have them written down. But eventually, the Buzzcocks became one of the biggest, most important punk bands of all time. Yeah. And but the reason they called it Spiral Scratch as well is apparently they recorded it. I could be fucking wrong, but one of the things I read was when they were recording this little demo or EP, whatever you want to call it, they had one of the machines that actually etched records on the fly.
Oh, deadly! Can I have that?
I know. Yeah, you can still buy those. They cost they cost a fortune.
Oh, that's pointless.
Yeah, exactly.
For one record,
yeah. But yeah, you can actually record. They used to put them. I think Sun Studios in the States, they had one as well. I think they still have one actually, where you can go in, sit in a booth, and like sing a song, and it literally like scratches it.
I saw that in some movie.
Yeah,
like from the 50s or something, where like people would queue up, and the guy was like, "What's your name?"
Yeah,
and she'd be like, "My name's Martha," and he'd go in and go, "Right, I'll change the name to Martha." And he'd go in and sing the song again with, "Oh Martha." No, it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, so I believe this might have been done like that, where it was kind of live, engraved onto record and then duplicated from that point. But that's a little. That's a little kind of open the door on indie. You could, there's thousands of books being written on this topic. I'm giving you fucking 4 minutes worth of a crash course, just so people understand kind of where we're coming from with some of our choices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to my first choice. We'll just get that over and done with, and then we can get to our normal format.
Who is your first choice?
My first choice is the Buzzcocks, Paul.
That's mad. That's a complete turn now. That's a flip. That's no segue there at all.
Nothing. Straight in, no loop. And I picked a song called Time's Up, which is off Spiral Scratch as well.
Cool.
Just so people could hear what it sounded like. So it's an English punk band founded in Bolton. Bolton is like 10 minutes outside of Manchester. So effectively they're a Manchester band. They formed in 1976. I think we might have put these bands in some sort of kind of linear fashion as well, didn't we? Put them...
We did, just so we didn't trip over too much history.
Yeah, so we kind of
go back to certain things, and we find it easier to tie it in this way. Yeah, it's loose enough.
It's loose enough, but we're going to start at the kind of beginnings of the genre and lead you into some more modern day ones, I think. So English punk band.
I kind of went through the decades with it.
Yeah. Bolton, 1976. They were a huge influence in the Manchester music scene themselves because they were always out and about and they wanted to play. They tried. I think they tried to sign to a couple of little labels, but nobody was really fucking interested. In 1976, punk was huge, but it wasn't as big as it was going to be in a year or two's time. 77 is the year that exploded with the Pistols, but they were around before that. Stuff like the Damned that already put out some records beforehand as well. But the Buzzcocks will be definitely in the top, kind of the first 2 or 3 bands to put out a punk record. So they're considered one of the godfathers of the punk scene in the UK. So they went from 76 to 81, then they took a break and they got back together again in 1989, and they're still kind of doing the rounds now. So Spiral Scratch came out in like 1977, I think the record came out, and like I said, it's would have been very influenced by the couple of bands that were doing the rounds, like the Sex Pistols were doing the rounds, the Damned, the Vibrators. They would have all been kind of doing the rounds before, and these guys wanted to get involved in it. It's the only record that has their original singer, a guy called Howard Devoto, I think. Yeah, Howard Devoto.
Yeah. And he's in 24-Hour Party Peoples. Remember that scene?
Yeah.
Where they make reference to him sleeping with Tony Wilson, the Joy Division's manager, in the toilet, and then it cuts to a janitor, and it's like, "I am Harold Devoto, and I just want you to know that this did not happen." It's fucking brilliant. It's like they let him have his say.
Yeah, good.
By acting as the janitor in the movie, it's really clever.
He went on and had 1 or 2 bands of his own that done really, really well. Apparently he's one of these guys. Devoto was just one of these guys. Once it wasn't extraordinarily exciting, he was just out. So
sounds like me.
Yeah, well, he's just like fucking. I'll release.
We're doing this 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Stupid.
Exactly. That's why he's like released like one of the first punk records ever, the first ever independent, well, not first ever, but first ever like widely accepted independent release that actually went somewhere. And then 10 minutes later, it's like, nah, no. So he got replaced by Pete Shelley. He was already, I believe, Pete Shelley was already in the band, and Pete Shelley's being with them then. The whole album was recorded in. It's not an album; it's an EP. It was recorded in 3 hours. And then it took 2 hours to mix it. So wow. 5 hours to bang out those couple of songs. And one of the songs on it is still probably their most famous song. Boredom is on there, and it's definitely up there as one of the top kind of Buzzcock songs. So they hit the ground running there. Originally, they only pressed 1,000 copies of it and it sold out. Then they went off and got 16,000 done. It was they sold 16,000 via mail order, and one of the Virgin record stores, this would have been before Virgin Megastore, one of their local Virgin record stores, the manager really liked it, so he started pushing it through Virgin in the shop itself, and then he got on to all the lads he knew that were like regional managers as well. Managers
and assistants to the regional manager as well.
Exactly. And then said to these other guys and some of the other Virgin stores, listen, we have this little fucking hot band here and fucking just outside Manchester, and they're selling decent numbers and they're local. That's something completely cool and different.
A local band is selling 16,000 records.
Yeah, exactly. So all of a sudden then everybody, all the Virgin stores wanted it. And once all the Virgin stores had it, loads of other stores had it. And then all of a sudden they had a hit on their hands. Now what happened after this is that fucking hundreds upon hundreds of new independent labels just popped up all over the UK. Right. All over the UK. Now, the band have come out and said themselves, and a lot of music historians have came out and said, like, the reason that this sold so much, it's not really because it was very good. It was just because it was fucking mad weird and completely new. Nobody had ever heard of, like, a band just self-funding, like, a recording and releasing it themselves. It just wasn't done. It wasn't done. Nobody knew how to do it. So these lads were just winging it, but doing it right. So people were buying it almost as like a curiosity, you know?
And maybe even a fuck you.
Maybe even a fuck you. But again, you know as well as me, like say you put together an event on Facebook and you get 1,000 people saying they're going to come and you might get 50. You know what I mean? So they're doing doing the same thing. They sell 16,000 of these things. And if they get fucking, 500, 600 people who actually like the band, might come and see them at their next gig and bring them me. Like, it's a good way to get things kind of organically pushed, you know. But that was the Buzzcocks with Time's Up, which was considered to be the kind of founding father. I said farther, Jesus, like I'm absolute farther, like I'm from the wilds of Inchicore. The founding fathers of kind of indie. Like I said, the movement itself, not the style of music that we kind of get mixed up. And I'm going to keep hammering that home because it's confusing, but people need to understand it's not not really a thing, but it kind of is.
Here's what I think. It's not understandable.
Yes.
There, I said it. Maybe some people can't completely understand it, but I don't think we can. Well, we can't anyway. So if you're looking for a clear definition of what indie is and what it should be, you're not going to.
It's not the one. This is not,
and especially not this episode.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my first one. Who was your first one?
The first, I'll just say how I'm going to approach this indie retrospective. I have chosen notable moments through indie that that resonated with me, because I wasn't going to start talking about things that I wasn't affected by at all. Not really. So that's why on some of these, they're not even particularly bands I would listen to, but I just really want to. These are definitely notable times, and a lot of them are movements and styles of indie that I saw popping up, and some of them I love, and some of them just will always pass me by, and I'll never go back to them. So the first one, and this was one that definitely stuck with me, is Stone Roses. The first pioneers of what would be considered the Manchester. I fucking hate that word.
I know.
I hate it.
I know.
The Manchester. Because I just think Stone Roses are better than all of the boxes they get put into. Every single box they get put into. Indie, Manchester, psychedelic rock. It's just so much better than all that. And I think they are they are the sound of indie in the very, very late 80s and early 90s. That is the sound. That's where indie was. That's indie's flagship right there, is Stone Roses, I think. And there anyway. I was a massive fan. I used to have all the CDs. I still have actually all the CD singles from their debut. And I'm one of the very few people not one of the few people who have their second album. Loads of people have it, but I'm one of the few people who like it. I actually think their second album is really good. It's not amazing. It's darker. It's a lot bluesier, like rock album, but it's definitely because they didn't release the debut album a second time, which they couldn't have done. It's so different. It's so darker, and it's so removed from it. Everyone went, oh, no. And I wouldn't mind. It was fucking like 10 years later or something. I can't remember. It was years later anyway. So it's never going to sound the same. I always liked the way the Stone Roses kind of... I remember years ago even just looking for... There's not really a massive amount of interviews. They don't like talking to the media. They never really did their things. The media don't like them or hate them. They're just... Normally when you ignore the media, you usually get bashed.
Yeah, I always got the feeling that they didn't do interviews because everybody in the band was like mad in their own way, and it would have just came across as a fucking circus.
Possibly,
That's always the feeling I got off them, that it was like almost all the bands, if you go back and look at that Manchester scene and look at, I don't fucking know, Happy Mondays or even further on into Black Grape or whatever, pick any of those kind of bands. Whenever you see interviews with them when they were in their peak. You see interviews with them now and they're fine. They understand what's expected of them. But when you watch interviews from these guys around the times that they were huge, it's a fucking clusterfuck. Because most of these guys were dirt picked out of council houses. Do you know what I mean? And you throw some money at them, and the first thing to do is buy the biggest block of hash and the biggest bag of coke and all the pills in the world.
And maybe a new guitar.
Maybe a new guitar. So the label buys them a new guitar and builds them for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but you often see the interviews and they're like, first of all, they can't do the same interview twice. So if they've already done an interview or remotely sort of responding to the questions, they won't do that again for the next person. Like, we did all this already. We do this again. You can see them. And like, Ian Brown's an interesting guy, and so is John Squire. They all are. But they never wanted to talk about it. That's part of the swagger, though, as well.
Big time.
The swagger that started Britpop.
Yeah. Because they were cool as fuck. Like, when you go back and look...
They were cool, but they were genuinely cool as fuck.
Yeah, genuinely.
I really think nobody... I don't know, maybe Lou Reed told them, and Iggy Pop and John Lydon told them how to be like this just by accident. But, I don't know, I always got the impression that it was never forced with Stone Roses. So, like, I didn't really go mad when they broke up, but I just knew that, like, I was waiting around for that album for a long time, and I still liked it. But what we did get was some savage Ian Brown albums, I think.
Yeah.
Manny joins the absolutely unreal Primal Scream.
Yeah.
John Squire started a band called Seahorses who had one good song.
That's right, yeah. Seahorses, I was only talking about them a while ago. They had one great song.
Love is the Law is a great song. Yeah. It is. It's a fun song, but I got the album and I was like, no.
And there was another band called Sparkle Horse I used to always get them mixed up with.
Oh, Sparkle Horse is way better, yeah. That's more of I think they're more of a folky kind of indie.
I think so. I can't fucking remember.
So the Stone Roses are a hugely important seminal band for everything that happened afterwards, Britpop and stuff like that. But you could literally talk about Stone Roses without bringing up indie. That's how good I think they are anyway.
Yeah.
I know loads of people who hate indie, but they still love Stone Roses. And that says to me kind of a bit, because Fool's Gold is an unreal song. It's absolutely incredible. It's almost perfect. Love Spreads. And then you've got, I know loads of like metalers who love I Want to Be Adored. It's gothy, it's creepy, gothy, it's unnervy. Yeah. And it's one of the most well-written songs of I Want to Be Adored was it's 89, 90, yeah. So that's the first big one. That's my first notable Manchester, the beginning of that, and that's the Stone Roses.
Cool.
Who are we moving on to now?
We're moving on to REM. Okay, now REM.
This is the American college indie.
Yeah, very much so. So this to me is where the kind of line is drawn between that kind of British indie and American alternative music. These are, for me, they're kind of nearly like the poster child for American indie and alternative. So I always considered, I like REM, but I'm not like, I forget I like REM, if you get me.
There's just so much styles of REM, though.
So many. There's 15 albums.
Because they're gone from the 80s, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So they formed in Athens, Georgia, which is where the B-52s are from as well. And actually, there's about 10 bands from this fucking little city in Georgia, which is mad. They're from the 1980, and they went all the way up to 2011 before they knocked it on the head. So their first single was in 1981. It's called Radio Free Europe on a little tiny indie label called Hibtone. And they stuck around with Hibtone for a little while. They actually bounced kind of from indie label to indie label. Eventually, they would go on to sell 60 million. That's a lie. 90 million. 90 million.
90 million. Yeah. I didn't think they sold that much. That's crazy.
90 million albums worldwide is what they sold.
Jesus.
Yeah. Their first mainstream hit was in 1987. So, like I said, they formed in 1980. Their first single was 1981. So within 6 years, they brought out The One I Love. And that done fucking bananas.
Don't give up, lads. That's what we're trying to say. Actually, no, that was the 80s when music worked properly.
So, exactly.
Don't
when
give
it was
up.
a scene, yeah.
It just takes 7 years and you get that one hit.
Exactly, yeah. So this one goes out to The One I Love for whatever.
That's such a great song.
It's a great song. So that was their first big mainstream hit. They'd had a bunch of other songs that done particularly well. The song I picked is a song called Bandwagon, which is off kind of a compilation of the really, really early stuff. And it's actually real. Listen to it. It's fucking mental, man. It's fucking mental listening to it.
I don't know this song.
Yeah, I wanted to pick something kind of off. Most of the songs I picked are kind of weird or slightly weird.
For the purposes of the podcast, I really could have listened to it, but I was
up to me bollocks this week.
I was up to me bollocks. I just finished this podcast like in my head.
Yeah,
just like before we sat down.
Seconds before we sat down. Yeah. I finished writing about an hour ago, so yeah, I'm with you. I did actually I wanted to sit down and listen to all of them, but it's not going to happen until the podcast is over, and then we'll talk about it maybe at Lost Art TV or something later.
Well, I think all my ones are fairly obvious, to be fair, so you can skip them. I'm just listening to the ones you know already.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So what happened was, as we've talked about with a million other bands, the kind of this weird bidding war erupted. Weird bidding war erupted. They ended up signing to Warner Brothers in 1996 for, I think they gave him $80 million signing fee, which I think at the time was like one of the biggest. And actually, no, it was their most expensive record contract ever at the time. $80 million to sign them on. Their next album that they brought out was called New Adventures in Hi-Fi. And it's
a phenomenal album.
Great album. But what's fucking mad about that album is that they recorded the vast majority of that album was recorded during sound checks while they were on tour.
Really?
So they're on stage, they had their engineer with them, and while they were fucking warming up and sound checking, they would play new songs and stuff like that.
That's brilliant.
And that's how they recorded the new album while they were on tour, so they never had to fuck off. Back then they did go to a studio for overdubs and obviously mixing and whatever.
Yeah.
But they recorded the vast majority of it on the fly while on tour. They had this is something cool that I found out. Before they were called REM, they were
called IBS.
They were originally going to be called. It was a toss-up apparently between a couple of names, but one of the names was Cans of Piss, which I think is kind of cool. Cans of
cool,
Piss.
But I can't see a G.G. Allen song title being exactly like for someone who's singing a.
And
I will find a river. Yeah, yeah.
And the other name they considered was Negro Eyes. Which
don't go with that. Don't go with that.
Like, not going.
Scratch that one.
Especially not when you're from fucking Georgia. But anyway, most of the success came from the American college radio, which was a huge deal. Even when I was in my first band in like the late 90s, or mid 90s, should I say? Yeah, it would have been early mid 90s would have been my first band, and that was a big deal. Was trying to get like songs burnt onto CD and mailing them to American like college radio stations was a big fucking deal, because that's where bands were being made. It was that simple back then. Nobody was playing kind of alternative music. Nobody was doing anything with it. But if you get it into the hands,
now you just have to send. And I know I'm sounding very old and bitter about the music scene in this episode, especially because I am in the middle of doing an album that's going to be posted to the sea. So now it's that sounds cool. You see, hoping you hear something back, or even just hear it on radio. Now it's like forwarding an email where you're trying to have a quirky kind of headline. Go, I know you've got 7 million demos today. One tiny online magazine, but
it's mad the way it's gone like that. Where it's like, I know when I was trying to get reviews from My Oak and I got 0. Like I mailed it out to so many different places, and no one got back to me. And it's not disheartening, because again, like I said before, it's bang to get that through it out.
Well, if it's not disheartening, it's surely just a little bit unusual.
It's just weird that there wasn't a single response from anyone, even saying we're up to our bollocks.
I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, well, again,
I'm gonna go off the rails and drink for like a week. I poured my heart and soul into that album.
Yeah, I think it's from talking to people who've been trying to get stuff reviewed for the last couple of years, it's very much a case of you have to know somebody who knows somebody.
Or you have to be gigging every week, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Gigging every week.
Anyway, back to REM. So REM.
Oh yeah, REM. They're a big
remember
band.
them? So in the States originally, they weren't referred to as like alternative music. It wasn't really a thing yet. It would have been very soon after they signed with Warner Brothers, but originally they would have been called jangle pop, which was a thing, jangle pop. The Smiths were also considered jangle pop in the States.
Right, yeah. I know what they mean. It's that guitar tone.
Exactly. It's that
the
really,
way they play it. And
yeah.
it's the long short that they have from art school. I know.
Exactly. Jangle pop is what they called it. So eventually they ended up putting out 15 albums, about 2/3 of which are actually good. The last 3 or 4 of them are kind of gack, and that's what made them knock it on the head. They broke up in 2011 after the last album they put out was called Collapse Into Now, and it just didn't do well. And the last two or three before that didn't do well. And apparently they just got together and they said, "Well, fucking, but the tank is empty, lads. Like, you know what?
Yeah,
we could keep going and like pumping stuff out that we're not really mad into, but like, or we can like the legacy is still there. Like we can like REM will always be there. It just won't be used anymore, you know." So they decided to kind of knock that on the head. So as far as I'm concerned, REM are kind of America's best effort at kind of the when you look at like the way REM formed and putting out albums on tiny labels and eventually getting too big and then moving on to another label and then becoming like the most expensive record contract ever. They're selling 90 million copies of albums. Like, to me, they're the best kind of foot forward for US kind of alternative indie.
They're mad as well because they didn't write songs for stadiums, but they ended up in stadiums because their songwriting was so good.
Yeah, their
songwriting is insanely good that they could literally just rise, sort of. I know they exploded, but what I'm saying is they didn't have to change that, and they didn't have to change their albums. None of their albums were particularly bombastic. They had a few grungy bits, like What's the Frequency, Kenneth, and stuff off Monster, but they never felt like they were writing for bigger audiences. Yeah, I think some of my favorite indie bands do that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Elbow started off as such a dark band, but I feel like playing so many festivals, they needed those big
anthems,
crowd songs. Then it doesn't mean they're not good.
Yeah,
they're not the fucking crying in the corner in the fetal position songs that the first album was. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that was REM. The song was Bandwagon, and that's off an early compilation of their stuff. Who was your next one?
My next one, I wanted to talk about Britpop, but I really didn't want to talk about Britpop.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about Britpop's funeral.
Okay.
Which is much more interesting, and we did touch on the death of Britpop in the episode. So the influential songs for the decades. We talked about the death of Britpop with OK Computer, the release of OK Computer in 1997, but it wasn't that didn't have to be the death of it, but it was. But it was also because of a few other things, and we'll get into that now. So Britpop was a continuation, obviously, of the Manchester scene that Oasis were massively influenced by, and the Stone Roses and stuff like that. And Oasis's first 2 albums are fantastic.
They're super. They're super. Yeah.
Especially the second one. The first one is the swaggery rock and roll thing. The second one is much more mature songwriting, but still with the rock. In fact, the rock and rolly songs of the second one are the weakest parts.
Yes.
But whatever. We're going to talk about their third album, which was released a month after OK Computer. 3 months after OK Computer. So the problem with that was the world had changed.
Yes.
And not just indie music, the world of music had changed.
Yeah.
An indie band, a grungy indie band had just pulled a full Pink Floyd and changed everything. And it just so happens that everyone was still like, fuck this garbage music. I want to hear what Oasis have to say about this. So I'm listening to Oasis' third album as a big enough fan. My mind has already been changed about how things are going. I don't want to act like a me retrospective of what I thought things were, what happened back then. Like I was, I knew things were going to be so different from that moment, but I did. I fucking did, man. I really knew things were going to be. I think everyone did. I went, oh Jesus.
Yeah, when I heard it, I went, what's this?
Yeah. So, still being the Oasis fan I was, and all my mates were monster Oasis fans, and everybody I worked with at the time. When it was released there was people listening to on like the little mini disc players, not the mini disc, the Discmans and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they were.
Oh yeah.
Or even just maybe on tape or something like that, or on their lunch breaks in work to talk about it with each other afterwards. It was so big. And I listened to it at home that night, I think. And then I came back into work and everyone was going mad about it. But the problem was when I listened to it, I got to track 6 and I knew by then that Oasis were burnt out.
Yeah, there's nothing left in the tank.
And that's the track I picked, The Girl in the Dirty Shirt. It's shite. And I knew, I hadn't figured out the album by then. If the first 5 tracks, there's a couple of good songs like... I'm
trying to remember what's on this album. I'm just looking at it here now. It's View album. What's on here? Do you know what I mean? My Big Mouth, Magic Pie, Stand By Me.
Yeah. So the first song, do you know what I mean, is actually a good song. It doesn't really go anywhere, but it's a good song. It's a good Magic Pie is the first one that Noel sings on the album, and I actually quite like it. I Hope I Think I Know is not a great song, but it's old Oasis. But it was when I hit this song, I went, no, I already know. I already know how I feel about this album.
Oh, All Around the World is on this. Jesus,
fucking shit song.
I am the bin man.
Even the song with Johnny Depp, I think it's Fade In, Fade Out, is a bit boring. It doesn't go anywhere. And even if you read up about what Noel Gallagher has to say about it now, he's like, that's shite, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like a bunch of coked up dopes that don't know what they're doing. And it is. The song's going nowhere.
It definitely was, yeah.
He mentioned there's no bass guitar on the whole album. I haven't really noticed that, but I'll have to go back and listen to that. So the press loves this album. And my mates loved it. But we see this a lot. It flatters. First of all, right, the expectations are so big and they're so good and they've done so much for people's music, guitar music, and that people don't want the third album to be bad.
Of course they don't.
And we've seen
pre-programmed.
And it's not even like, I think it's a bad album, but I will accept that some people could convince me it's an okay album. That's fine.
Yeah,
that will disagree on that. But I won't agree with them on is the fact that this is a good album. It's not the same way certain bands in Ireland now, we listen to that and we're being told this is the 5 out of 5 album.
Yeah.
And I would know. Even if I didn't like it, I would know.
Yeah, exactly.
There's other bands on this playlist that I can understand, that I've picked, that I don't even really listen to that much, but they're notable, which is why I've mentioned them.
Yes.
So,
what I always felt about Oasis when it came to this third album, Oasis, after the second album, Oasis were like shot into the stratosphere. They were so big. The second album was so fucking huge. And the big problem with Oasis was that a good chunk of their followers and fans were fucking dirt.
Well, I get into that now, you see. That's why I think OK Computer was so important, because it was almost like a dirty glare across the pub.
It was.
A load of lads.
Exactly.
I won't say art students, because I hate when computer constantly get called art students.
Yeah.
I even don't know if they were or not. It just so happens that moodier music comes with that. But that's what that was.
That's the way I always felt about it. It was just them coked up fucking bother boy fucking English stag party fucking arseholes.
And that's why so many people that even liked Oasis were ready to just drop the scene. They were sick of it already. There was so much hard drugs and being a lad.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine always says he hates Oasis because it gives knackers notions. I don't like that phrase because it's so classist anyway for a start. But it's really problematic.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I was about to say we wouldn't have you to okay, spell example. But a lot of people feel that way. They thought Oasis brought all these people into their fucking like little tiny safe bubble of rock music.
Yeah.
And I mean, so what? Like, I don't know. Like,
there's nothing.
My mates were
nothing really wrong with it.
And lads.
Yeah. I had loads of mates who were lads, and that's all they listened to. My dad was obsessed with them. You know. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, there was a lot of people with that, like, ready to drop Oasis, even though they liked them because of this fan base, which is not fair. It's not fair on the people that you're talking about. It's not fair. It's mad classist and it's fucking weird. But it always stuck with me that, like, that could be a part of Britpop dying. Like you said, people were ready to get rid of that, as well as that the beefs, the tabloid beefs were waning. That was a huge part to push it forward. Tabloids cared less about the music that they were making and way much more how much coke they were doing, which is Patsy Kensit, who they seen right now.
And he married. Noel married one of the girls from All Saints as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. So did Liam.
Yeah,
Liam.
There was Match and there was Blur versus Oasis.
Bad bands, to be fair, All Saints are not bad bands.
Yeah.
So the lad culture. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that's on my thing.
Yeah.
OK Computer, like I said, is the big sneer across the fucking pub at those. I always think, are they the goth of indie? But we won't. I think Suede were the first band to start trying to tempt goths to the indie side of things.
Yeah,
come over here.
Yeah,
goths, you like this? But we will go into later about who helped with that aspect of it. So, who's your next one?
My next one is I gave every band I picked a little kind of bullet point as to why I picked them, and I picked this band because they were one of the first bands I think that kind of mashed it all together, and that was Primal Scream.
They're great.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Primal Scream, and that some of the stuff is fantastic and some of it is dirt, and they know that as well.
Yeah,
and
I have like they've made two of my favorite albums,
Exterminator and Scream
Delegate. Yeah, the two of those.
Those albums are fucking fantastic. Now, I picked a song called Imperial, which is off Sonic Flower Groove, which is I think the first album, I think. So, formed in Glasgow in Scotland in 1982. There's a good case to be made here for Primal Scream being a super band as well.
So you got Bobby from
They ended up with fucking. I have a couple of names written down here. I'll get through them. But they ended up going through 22 members throughout the career of the band, like, which is fucking batshit mad. So it's formed by Bobby Gillespie, who founded them while he was playing with the Jesus and Mary Chain.
So he was a drummer, wasn't he?
He was a drummer for the Jesus and Mary Chain. So what he was doing is that he was kind of doing double duty. He was doing the Primal Scream thing, and he was doing Jesus and Mary Chain, and the Jesus and Mary Chain turned around to him and said, listen, you need to pick one. So he picked his own band. He picked Primal Scream.
He picked a better band.
Well, that's up for debate. We'll see.
No, it's not. No, it is. Jesus and Mary Chain, they're very, very important. But the Primal Scream have better songs and music's better songs, man.
Yeah. So they ended up getting signed to Alan McGee's Creation Records, which is like one of the most important record labels, probably of all time. Who also got Oasis as well. 100 other fucking bands that are incredibly important. If you go through the kind of the rogues gallery of bands that Alan McGee signed, like he might be a fucking bit of an arsehole, but he has the fucking ear, like he has the fucking ear. Now what they done, this is why I think they're important, is that they jumped from scene to scene, which is fucking mad. They jumped from like acid house to psychedelic stuff, that jangle pop, rock and roll, shoegaze, dance music. Like they ended up banging all of it together. Eventually Manny from the Stone Roses jumped in. He played with them for ages. I think the drummer from the Stone Roses came in then as well at a later date.
I think that Rennie played with them for a little bit, maybe live. Rennie does a lot of stuff live. He doesn't really. He's got one band, something in the Order Ruffles or something like that.
I can't remember. There's so many of the fucking things, but there's so many. They ended up with Kevin Shields and My Bloody Valentine playing with them for ages as well. He's like a temporary, permanent kind of member. It's like if he can, he'll do it, that type of thing. They've had so many session musicians come in and out of the band over the years. Like the timeline is fucking crazy.
They play with like a lot of backing singers as well, especially with the Screamadelica stuff.
Yeah, they have a lot of backing singers, a lot of kind of extra musicians, because they had some albums where they went real heavy down the kind of synthesizer route and kind of pre-programmed stuff and let the dog standard instruments sit in the background, and then sometimes they bring it back where they kind of, he said himself, Bobby Gillespie, kind of they went from that jangly style to like rock, where he said that we just discovered rock and roll and we realised we were a really, really good rock and roll band. So
you got that song Rocks, do you remember?
Exactly, Get Your Rocks Off. Yeah.
And then, like, that was after Screamadelica, I think, wasn't it?
That was, I think, I remember. Is that not off Screamadelica?
It is off it, is it?
I think it's off Screamadelica.
No, it's not.
If it's not, it's off the fucking one after it. Because I know Exterminator was a couple of years later. Because they start writing weird political songs. Then he got in big trouble as well. He started fucking.
Moving on up is the song I'm thinking of. That's the kind of rockier one off. That's the first song off Screamadelica. Yeah.
He started getting in trouble. Bobby Gillespie started getting in trouble then because he started getting into kind of political stuff and more political theme songs. And then he was getting asked to, do you want to do this gig?
Yeah, do you remember Swastika Eyes?
Yeah, exactly. And
that actually sounds a little bit like fucking an REM previous name.
Yeah, exactly. Swastika Oils, and he was fucking jackbooting around the stage, fucking Sieg Heilin, and she got in trouble for that.
Oh, did he? I remember that fucking line. A military industrial illusion of democracy.
Yeah, they pulled him off stage for that and everything. And then it's like stuff where he had to like sign merchandise and sign posters that were going to be auctioned off for like a cancer charity or something like that. And he started like scribbling out the names of other people and what the cause was, and start writing like Free Palestine and like just silly stuff that it is important. But like you weren't there to do that there and then, fucking Bobby. So chill the fuck out, you know. They took Asian Dub Foundation on tour with them. That's kind of how Asian Dub Foundation got their big kind of leg up. Actually, when you listen to it, there's loads of that kind of early Asian Dub Foundation stuff. I think might have leaked into the Primal Scream fucking blood as well, because they definitely have bits and bobs of that. I fucking love Asian Dub Foundation. I fucking love it. They're kind of the poster child for indie not being like a genre and more of like we said, more of a bracket. For me, they're like that band that took all these different styles, like that like we were saying, the Manchester, the jangle pop, the fucking psychedelic, all of it, you know, and just made it their own.
Could be considered an indie classic, but Exterminator is up there with Prodigy.
Yeah,
so it's completely. You can't call Prodigy indie.
Exactly. Not really, no. Like for me, these are the guys that just like the list of indie bands is just fucking endless, and none of the bands really sound alike. Not really that much, but
we're lost in indie.
Exactly. Yeah, but for me, Primal Scream are one of the bands that just glued all of it together and kind of came out the other end still with their legendary status. They're jumping and scene hopping never really affected them that much, and I would still consider to be a classic band. Anyway, that's Primal Scream with Imperial. Who's your next one?
The big one from the turn of the century and turn of the decade in 2001. Not even the turn, that's a year. What? Let me start that again. In 2001, The Strokes came out, right?
Yeah,
and that was big. Yes. This was the infusion of like 70s New York punk. Yeah. They said we're indie now. That's why and they said indie is this. We're indie and indie is this. Indie is now 70s New York punk style thing. So that's where you get the Hives, Divines, Soulwax even. You get the Killers, whether that's a good or bad thing, I don't know. Yeah. You also around the 2000s as well. Like I'm obviously I picked the Strokes. I want to talk about the Strokes and that kind of music. But around the same time, the folkier side of things were kicking off with Belle and Sebastian. That's why right, I didn't know whether to go with the Strokes or Belle and Sebastian.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, look, which had the bigger like impact? Which should I want to talk about? And so I'll talk about folk a little bit later.
Yeah.
Not with Belle and Sebastian, not quite yet. Even though I love Belle and Sebastian, I really do. I think they're deadly. The Strokes were kind of my Whelan's heyday, and I never really had a Whelan's heyday. I just remember sometimes I wouldn't go to Fibbers and listen to Rammstein.
Yeah.
I would go to Whelan's, especially if there was a gig on in Whelan's, like something like Cycle Fair or something, maybe playing Whelan's, and we'll go, you know what, I'll walk all the way across town to go to Fibbers for the club afterwards. Whelan's would kick you out and you have to pay back in again, whatever. Yeah. Used to do that for music. That's fine. And I used to love dancing to the Strokes, and always The Charlatans, the only one I know, which is one of the best songs ever written.
Yeah.
I used to wait for that song. I wouldn't even have to ask the DJ. I wouldn't insult him. He'd know it was coming. You also had the Libertines around here. And I'm not going to lie, I completely missed about the Libertines. They were never really my thing. I know how influential they are, and I know everyone talks about them. I know my mates with tattoos, they're mad about the fucking Libertines and stuff. Crazy about them. But I never... They were obviously part of that. I know that Arctic Monkeys came a little bit after it as well because of the Strokes, and I do like them a lot. I don't know how people don't like them. Well, I do know how people don't like them, but I really think that's going back. Like if you got the Strokes and you aimed it back at Oasis, you'd probably end up with the Arctic Monkeys somewhere.
So, yeah.
I don't know if that's a very good example or something to say, but I've said it now, and it's on
too
record.
Late now.
Too late. It's on record now. I mean, we all knew this 70s punk thing, the White Stripes and all that. It wasn't going to last, but it was fucking deadly when it was out. It was exciting because the music was so high energy.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that, like, even were, let's say, old school rockers, Led Zeppelin and all, going, yeah, I can dig this as well. It's blend. That's what loads of things in indie did. It always blended two I wouldn't say genres, when it did blend millions of genres, but scenes, it linked scenes together an awful lot. Like we were just talking about Primal Scream. How many scenes is that crowd? Is one of their crowd?
But it's batshit. It's batshit mad.
They remind me of Killing Joke in a lot of ways. They went from a certain sound and went, you know what's deadly? Mad, like aggressive, industrial, political music. We should do that. It's like, really? Yeah. So
that'll work.
Yeah. So like I said, look, we knew this wasn't going to really work for long, and it didn't. I'd say by 2005, although the Strokes like kept going with a few bangers, but I mean, I don't really know any songs off their third album. I don't know any off the Hives. I think the Cardigans. No, the Cardigans were earlier than this. They were late 90s.
Yeah.
Around, we were thinking the same time, like because the Hives were Swedish and
the Hives were super. Those first couple of Hive songs were fucking great. Like I said, that high octane kind of rock and roll style that was doing the rounds at the time. That was definitely like derivative of like MC5 and stuff like that, you know.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Had that,
but it was so fucking good. Even like I was never mad into the White Stripes. I was there when Jack White got the shit kicked out of him in Detroit once. I was in a pub.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know who the fuck it was beat the shit out of him. They remember that song, the Hotel Yorba?
I love that song.
Yeah, so fucking that's a place. Yeah. That's an actual place. We used to drive past that in Detroit all the time, and I'd be like, Hotel Yorba. But there was this bar that everybody used to drink at in Detroit called it was called the Majestic, and it was I think I had like two names. I had like a bowling alley in it. I had like a bar, a bowling alley, and a venue. And when we toured, we played there a couple of times. But it's where everybody drank in Detroit. Like whether you were big or small, like you didn't like Kid Rock could be in there. You know what I mean? One night, it could be anybody. And there was some fucking row kicked off there some night. And I was there on my own. I was standing in the corner. It wasn't on my own, but I wasn't with the band. And fucking kicked off because there was mates of mine who ran a little small record label over there called Hell City Records. And he grabbed a hold of me and he started shouting. There's this fucking Jack White from the White Stripes over there getting the shit kicked out of him. I was like, who's killing him? Who's killing him? And he told me who it was. I can't fucking remember. But there was some guy or some band that had like a beef with the White Stripes over fucking something. And it was like famous. My brain's gone to shite now. But it's like someone from like the Vines or one of them type of fucking bands that were around at the same time that had beef with them. It's like that Brian Jonestown Massacre versus fucking
Dandy Warhols.
Warhols. That was a similar type of fucking beef that was going on. And Jack got the shit kicked out of him. But yeah, like I said, that high octane MC5 style fucking kind of indie rock and roll was fucking so good. Like for about 2-3 years, like it took everything over. Like there was nothing else down the rounds that could
even
go
like
against it.
Like I know I said like I came from Fibbers listening to metal and stuff like that to go to Whelan's every now and then. But even when I was DJing, I'd play the Strokes on the floor before.
Oh yeah. Especially this song. Like this song's like
I picked Last Night. I mean, it's a very important but brief time in indie music. But so was all this. Exactly. That was the Strokes Last Night, and it was the, like you said, high octane 70s New York punk style taking over indie. Big so time. Who's your next one?
They had to go in. It's probably the best example of indie music ever. It's the Smiths.
I love the Smiths.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of
the Smiths. I love the Smiths.
I know. So I picked Hand in Glove because it was their first single. Formed in Manchester in 1982, knocked it on the head in 87. So they kind of born bright and quick and fucked off. Probably the most important UK indie band ever. Possibly one of the most important bands ever.
Yes.
It was like...
It's hard to know whether them or Joy Division are more.
I don't
different
know.
Ways, I think different directions.
I think it's hard to separate them because it's hard to find people who like the Smiths that don't like Joy Division and vice versa. Yeah. They're almost lumped in to the same.
You will find a lot of people that like Joy Division and don't like the Smiths though.
Yeah, exactly.
The other way around, it's different.
Exactly. Once you're in, you're fucking in. The Smiths was a weird rejection of popular music. It's basically how Morrissey and fucking Mark kind of summed it up. Even the name, the idea behind the name is fucking fantastic. Someone asked him, what do you call the Smiths? And he said, well, the Smith seems like the most ordinary name conceivable. And I thought it was about time that the ordinary people were heard. I was like, oh, that's a good name.
That's a very good line. I've been thinking about that one for a long time.
Exactly, yeah.
Good
So, like I
man,
said,
Martin.
like a rejection of fucking popular music at the time. It was definitely a throwback to a more kind of a late '60s style music, but with kind of current politics and juice behind it. Formed by Morrissey and Johnny Marr. Over a mutual love of the New York Dolls. Both of them were fucking obsessed by the New York Dolls. They were turned down by Factory Records. They really, really wanted to get signed to Factory Records. They really, really did. EMI turned them down, said fucking no. Rough Trade eventually agreed. They said, listen, we're not going to sign you, but we'll put out a single for you and see how it goes. And they put out Hand in Glove. And it fucking went fucking batshit.
It went gangbusters.
Yeah. Now, this is kind of where they eventually signed. Rough Trade eventually signed them after they saw how many copies that Hand in Glove sold. Now, this is where the beginning of the end kind of begins for the Smiths, in that the only two people in the band that signed that contract with Rough Trade was Moz and Marr.
Yeah.
Right? The fucking Rourke and Joyce were just left out completely. This is the beginning of the end for them. The first album was originally called The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, but Rough Trade didn't like it, so it was scrapped. And they redone it again. So somewhere out there, there's a fucking tape of an unheard Smiths album that I'm sure everybody would love to get their hands on.
I would like to have that, please.
Me too. I would like to hear it. Now, I don't know whether they re-record. They brought in a new producer and stuff, so I don't know how reworked the songs are. So you can imagine it would be like almost the original version of something like In Utero or something. It's pretty much the same, but it's very, very fucking different. You know, I would be very interested in hearing that. So they made him go back in and do it again. It's a weird one. Marr left because Marr got a pain in his bollocks with just touring and being go all the time. Yeah. And he also got a pain in his bollocks because Morrissey was obsessed with covering old 60s singers.
He's still doing it.
Still doing it. Like, apparently, like Marr said, I didn't fucking start me on bleeding, like indie band, rock band, whatever, to do fucking Cilla Black covers. You know what I mean? Like,
I want to do Verlin.
Yeah, he was mad for just doing covers. Like, he wanted to do his own stuff, but he wanted to throw covers onto every single, every EP, every album. And the rest of the band didn't really give a fuck, but Marr was like, I just want to write fucking songs.
Yeah.
And because Marr,
they're writing like some of the best songs ever written.
Wouldn't we keep doing that?
And we don't have to do another like Lee Hazelwood cover.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently, why the Smiths sounded like that was because Marr had kind of made a promise to himself when they started the band that he wasn't going to use distortion, he wasn't going to use like power chords, and he wasn't going to use like bog standard kind of chord progressions. Everything had to be done slightly weird and slightly fucking off kilter to keep himself interested, and because he was going to be the only guitarist in the band, he had to be able to kind of fill out the sound, and he was going to do that by sounding different. He wasn't going to try and sound full, he was going to sound very fucking weird. So Marr got a pain in his bollocks. He wanted a little break. They finished the tour or something like that, and he was like, you know what, I'm not breaking up, I want some time off.
Yeah.
And, off he went, and the band were kind of pissed off because apparently there was plans for another tour. They were all happy touring except for Marr. So it kind of became a what would you call it, like a little holiday to just kind of cascaded into the Marr and Morrissey kind of taking shots at each other in the press, and eventually it was just fucking over and done with. Now, this is fucking weird. Eventually there was a couple of cases over songwriting royalties, right? And there was one that was going on, 3 years ago, and there was one a couple of years before that again. And it's fucking mad, like the amount of times, because apparently Rourke and Joyce thought that they were getting 25% of the royalties. Like, that's what they thought. Yeah. And it turned out years later that they were getting like 10% each. So Moz and Marr were taking 40% each and giving the remainder to the other two lads. And even the other two lads didn't know this because they'd never seen contracts. They'd never seen anything. They just assumed it was across the board, even.
Harsh.
But
this is what happens with songwriting. I don't know. I still haven't made it.
I'm the same. I haven't made up my mind about it at all. Like, it's so fucking weird. Now, apparently, I can't remember whether it was Joyce or Rourke. I think it might have been fucking Rourke. He settled out of court for he was broke, He was broke.
I think that was I think that was the bass player.
And he settled out of court for like, I don't know, a couple of £100,000 or something, like £380,000. He just settled for it. He just, I need to pay out my debts. I need the money fucking now. And they settled and gave it to him. And then later on, Joyce, I think, he was like, I'm not settling. I want me fucking money and I want to backdate it. So he went back in and started his own case. Now, apparently around this time, something else had happened where I think Morrissey was doing solo stuff, and Morrissey, because he was an active member of the band, even though the band had broke up, he was in the band, so he like was having his wages kind of garnished. So for every like £4 he made, £1 had to go to fucking Joyce or Rourke or something like that. He was getting real fucky, and he alluded to the fact that like they had all met up before the court case. All four of them had met up, and they'd come up with a deal. And Mar and Moz peeled off like the guts of $1 million or something and gave it to them. Like Moz and Mar thought this was all sorted. And then they get hit with case after case after case. Now, apparently after one of these trials, a judge said in court in front of him that he was going to rank the band's intelligence. And this is fucking mad weird because it's not going to go the way you think. He was like, okay, Rourke and Joyce, basically you're unintellectual, you're stupid. You're stupid for letting this happen to you. You're stupid for not dealing with it earlier, and you're stupid for the way you're dealing with it now and settling out of court and all this type of bullshit. And then he said that fucking Mar was the most intelligent because Mar would get up and he would. I
would have said that.
Yeah. So Mar was getting up and he was saying like he apparently like the prosecution who were going after them when he were kind of happy with what Mar was saying. He was like, yeah, they do deserve it. Like, they definitely do deserve it, but, like, they didn't agree to it back then either. You know what I mean? He was, like, he was kind of playing devil's advocate. He's like, listen, if they win, they'll get the money. But I don't know if they should win because this has been going on for fucking 30 years now. Yeah. And, like, that money doesn't exist from the Smiths anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking gone. And then the judge obviously said that Morrissey fits somewhere between unintellectual and fucking quite intelligent. And apparently that would have worked fucking Moz something fierce. Because apparently when he was on the stand, he'd just keep fucking blathering, like doing his normal Morrissey thing, where he'd go off on a big diatribe.
He sang so many songs about the judges and the legal system.
Exactly.
Off his solo stuff.
They might have went fucking after him. So in 2009, apparently they were offered £50 million to do a couple of reunion gigs, like 3 reunion gigs.
Is it Coachella?
No, they were offered Coachella money. And they turned that down. Now, apparently, that money was fucking outrageous.
Their money is mad. Like they're trying to make the impossible happen. Sometimes they almost got the Cocktail Twins, for fuck's sake.
There you go.
They even agreed to it, but they just like physically couldn't make each other be in the same place.
Really? Yeah. Now, apparently, the rumors of how much they were offered by Coachella was wrong. The rumor was down the rounds. It was like fucking $90 million or something like that. But then I think Morrissey came out, or Mark came out and said like, "No, it's bollocks. They never offered us that much." But then I think a UK promoter said, "I'll give you £50 million, 50." And that made
for what? What is that for? One gig?
3 gigs.
3 gigs.
3 arena gigs. Yeah.
He's 100% obviously losing his money on that.
I don't know. It depends on how much. I mean, how big are the arenas? You know what I mean?
No, you're not making 50 million even. TV rights even. I think he's like paying at least 10 million there just to see the Smiths back together.
More than likely. I mean, I
don't know. I can't run the numbers in my head. I don't know what I'm talking about. It just feels like that.
Croke Park is 80,000 people, and that's I think the 3rd biggest stadium in Europe, right? So let's bring it down to 60,000 people. Let's pick a bog standard. Like how many what does Old Trafford hold off the top of your head? Probably 50, 60, yeah? That seems to be standard.
A lot of saps.
Whatever. What's your one? Anfield.
51, I think.
There you go, right? So 50,
keeps changing. Every time I check, it keeps changing.
Yeah. Let's say fucking 50,000 people is a bog standard stadium, right? By the time you work the stage and there's 3 a.m. So that's 150,000 people, and you're gonna have your cheapest ticket's gonna be £100, right?
Yeah, £90.
Yeah, that's gonna be your fucking nosebleeder, and then the closer you get, you're gonna get up for the Smiths. You're gonna get up to £800-900 for like ringside, essentially, is what you're going to, like these little boots and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're going to have merch. You're going to have fucking
Okay, so they've made $5 million from the first gig. I just checked it there.
Yeah.
But that's $5 million. That's $5 million. That's without expenses.
Exactly.
So you're talking half that, and then I don't like that's what those the promoters have made.
I'm with you here. I don't know how you make 50 million off 3 gigs, but that's what they were offered. Now maybe
I think people just would do that. Yeah.
Maybe they're going to make a documentary about it and sell it to Netflix and sell it Blu-rays, and I'm sure there was like an all media thing, and they're going to record it and sell the LP. And, you know what I mean? There's ways of making
sponsorship. Yeah,
exactly. You know, you get fucking some prick in the fucking who's going to give you 10 million. So like you'd have ways of offsetting it just to put the Snickers brand on the stage. You know what I mean? Which Morrissey might not agree with at all. That's the fucking, you know, because they're going to make sure that they've the last fucking say in it. So I don't know. Now apparently,
like imagine that fucking Dublin gig sponsored by Wow Burger. I don't think so.
Exactly.
Did we do a veggie burger? No.
I remember when we were in Poland, right? And Morrissey was playing in Krakow. That's real fucking funny. And went out the night before the gig. Went out in the piss with Bosborough, who was Morrissey's guitarist, and Morrissey's cousin, who was like kind of like stage manager for him. His name is Jay. Lovely lads. We went out in the piss and fucking all over Krakow. Had a fucking great night. Next night went to the gig, and then the next night off as well. So we went out again, but during the day we went over to the hotel to hang out with the fucking lads. And Morrissey ordered there was like 20, 30 people I think on the guest list or on the crew. So everybody's like sitting around in the hotel, and he was like, can I have 25 people? So can I have 25 toasted cheese sandwiches, please? And they came down with 25 toasted ham and cheese sandwiches, and there was murder. There was fucking murder. So, it wasn't a good time. It was real awkward. I think we slipped out. The hotel was literally like on there, O'Connell Street type of thing. Fucking snuck out. Yeah. But apparently, Morrissey and Mar got together to talk about this offer, this 50 million. And they decided against it, and they said,
"Can you imagine being the other two? Oh, you fucking pricks!
Yeah,
H's."
Yeah, I think. But what had happened is because they'd been brought to court so many times, I think the lads might have been just cut out of the loop completely. You know, they might have brought them back in just for the fucking sake of it, but who knows? But apparently they did get together. They talked about it, and they said it's loads of money and all, and like it's not about money. Apparently they kind of want the history of the Smiths to be unblemished. They don't want to go up and make a bollocks of it, you know, which is great. It's done. And
like so many bands did. Stone Roses got back and did it. It is what it is. I don't think it sounded amazing.
Yeah. I think one of the things that Morrissey said was, he said, like, I've been a solo artist now for way longer than I was in the Smiths. And
Jesus, by 10 times.
Yeah, exactly. And like my albums have fucking sold fucking millions, and I've been active ever since. So like, he was more pissed off about fucking.
You like more Morrissey songs than the Smiths, don't you?
No, I'm Even Stevens on it. I like
Even Stevens. A lot of people do prefer Morrissey, but I'm leaning towards the Smiths. But also, I do love loads of Morrissey.
I know, I love loads. It's hard. It's real hard to fucking, because the early Morrissey stuff is definitely.
The great thing with the Smiths is you can say like the Smiths without getting loads of questions.
Yes, exactly. You can just say it's the Smiths, isn't it?
Because Morrissey's mad dodgy.
Mad ropey. Like God help the cunt. He's fucking batshit mad.
Not the ropiest, but it's really not
yeah, but he's mad. He's fucking mad, man.
He's mad.
He's batshit, man. Anyway, that was the Smiths, and fucking talk about that shy all fucking day and night. But one of the things that Morrissey did say was that I don't want all the work that I've put in the last fucking like 30 years as a solo artist to be reflective upon fucking Joyce and Rourke, who've done fuck all, for them to just to get a massive payday, because I've been fucking touring and Mars done a bit with like Modest Mouse and shit like that. Both of them stayed active. He was real fucky about that. You know? And,
so he literally said it. This is why you're not having what would be maybe even $1 million each for
and apparently like, Rourke and Joyce put out a statement giving out about Morrissey, and he put out like a counter statement, said they should literally be sending me letters of thanks every week, because if they had a different singer, they never would have made it further than the post office. Were his exact words. If they had another singer, they never would have made it further than the post office. So they should be sending me letters of thank you every week for being involved in the Smiths. Anyway, that was the Smiths. Who's your next one?
Well, the last one obviously I picked was the Strokes in 2001, and just a year after that album was This Is It was released, which is a great album. We had a lovely resurgence in kind of Joy Division influenced indie rock, and one of the most important bands in that resurgence was Interpol. So I've picked Interpol, PDA from just literally the year after 2002. I think this is important. This was when they started to bring a feel of the 80s back in.
Yeah.
So the Strokes had gone from the 70s, and just a year later we're going to jump into slightly 80s. Now I say the 80s, like Interpol have an 80s feel to it, but I think that they are one of the Turn on the Bright Lights album is really fucking good, and I think that's it gave rise to like the Editors, White Lies, which then gave sort of Block Party rise to that, which then gave rise to more serious, less serious stuff like Test Icicles. But just going back to this stuff, Interpol is more goth friendly. I think this is the first time I can literally name a shitload of goth sign out that love Interpol. And like I mentioned earlier, that Suede were the first ones whispering in their ears about indie music. Interpol are the ones I think that really set a standard with that. It could be Joy Division, but it's not just a Joy Division clone, because now as it stands there's 6 billion 20 billion 0.5 Joy Division clones in the band, because they took a feel of it and did it, but you can't really do it. Interpol had that feel, but they really had their own songs and their own feel as well. So they're somewhere between shoegazy stuff and maybe like even just the Stroke stuff that was happening at the time. They're also from New York, so I think that they like the Strokes would have had influences from Blondie. I think everyone that comes out playing guitar from New York has to sort of have a New York Dolls or Blondie feel. New York Dolls from New York. I know it's a stupid question, but I mean, Boards of Canada are not.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Canada,
York,
you know what I mean? So, I think they did. Like that. I don't listen to too much after that album, if I'm being completely perfectly honest with you. Because I know that it was on one of the Rock Band or Guitar Hero stuff that I went.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm actually gonna give this, because that song PDA was on it, and it was my favorite song to play. And I was like, "Fuck, man!" I know at the time there was loads of 80 stuff coming out. Like I think, I know Ladytron and all that stuff was afterwards, but Interpol started that whole a touch of goth in indie. So I found that to be really, really interesting. It was only a year after, like the Hive stuff and the Vines were still kicking it really hard. And Interpol came out and was like, okay, we're going to just tone it down a little bit and just get a bit. And if you listen to the bass song in this PDA song, the change in it where it goes up, it's almost a little bang of disco off that bit. So it has that upbeat feel to it. It's not too serious, even though your man is singing like he could be. He's still, you know what? I like it. He's not singing in an English accent, which I found myself doing sometimes. He is singing in an Ian Curtis style, but very much New York. So it comes out like if Joy Division were, or if REM were covering Joy Division. That's how the voice might sound like that. But I don't have a huge amount to say about it, but I just loved that aspect of indie when it went a little bit darker and Gotti and White Lies and stuff like that came out. And there's loads of other bands I can't think of off the top of my head. Just
a bunch of them that came out after that, loads of them.
But that was my quick, slightly darker recesses of early 2000s indie. Who is your next choice?
My next choice is one of my favourite bands that are on this list, and it's Dinosaur Jr. And
that's mad. In my head, I was like, I'm sure everyone's thinking punk band.
Yeah, not really. This is. I picked Little Fury Things, which is a super fucking song. Everybody listen to this song. Everybody listen to this song.
Everybody shut up. We're playing early Dinosaur Jr.
Exactly, yeah. Dinosaur Jr. are important because they were one of the better bands, and they weren't one of the most popular bands, but they were one of the bands that kind of the muso heads kind of latched onto. And they were also there was a weird movement in the last kind of 15 years towards this like heavy indie style that you would have got with some bands like Fouls and shit like that, where they were still like they looked like fucking nerds, and they played Telecasters, and they had like skinny jeans and flannel shorts and shit like that, but they were the music that they were playing wasn't fully heavy, but it wasn't like jangly poppy kind of stuff. It was like this weird amalgamation of the two. So I think Dinosaur Jr. are one of the first bands to kind of attempt that and to do it properly. So it was formed in Amherst, Massachusetts in 1984 by Jay Mascis, who's fucking just a huge name in the music scene. His name is probably bigger than Dinosaur Jr.'s. Like he has his own, I think one of the lads that we know just bought his own signature fucking Fender, what you call it, Jaguar.
Or yeah.
And it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. So like, once you start getting your own fucking signature guitar models by big companies, like people should probably pay attention to what you're doing. Dinosaur Jr. were super kind of influential in the American alternative scene and the fucking indie scene. So there was bands in the States that were trying to replicate that kind of British sound, that jangly kind of British sound. And then you had your own, as we talked about earlier, kind of REM style stuff where it was kind of, in my head, leans more towards a kind of distortion guitar and a little bit more upbeat and kind of poppy and stuff like that. These guys were definitely kind of in there. But they started off as like they weren't really a hardcore punk band. I think they more knew loads of lads that were into hardcore punk and kind of new wave music and shit like that, and post-punk, and they were the only guys that they kind of had access to start this band. So they really wanted to be signed to SST Records, who was like, they're like the American kind of Creation Records almost. Like if Sub Pop is the American fucking Creation Records, then I don't know who the fuck SST is. Maybe one step below, but almost nearly as important. Maybe the Factory Records or something like that. I don't know. It's a weird fucking combo. But SST had fucking everybody, and they really wanted to be on there. So that's kind of where their style started off, was that kind of punkier, faster, shouty, screamy thing. But Mascis always had these weird vocals where it was real kind of nasally and toneless. So the music would be doing mad shit, and he'd be just like he wasn't roaring and shouting, he wasn't screaming or anything like that. Mascis eventually sacked everybody out of the band. He just got rid of them. He was like, "Listen, this is fuck. I'm sick of all these. You're paying the bollocks." For ages, then he played every instrument on albums, and he just bring people in that he knew to play instruments he wasn't particularly happy with. As kind of a clusterfuck type of situation. They got back together again they broke up in 1997 and they got back together again. But they were kind of reformed. When was it? So 97 they broke up. 2005 they got back together again with like the original lineup from the original couple of albums, and they put out 4 new albums. Right. When they were kids, when they'd first started, Sonic Youth seen them, and Sonic Youth, because Jay Mascis had moved from Massachusetts. This is real weird. He'd moved from Massachusetts to New York, but he left the rest of the band in Massachusetts. So whenever they wanted to play New York, everybody else had to drive down or fly down to come down to where Jay Mascis was living to play, which is fucking weird. But Sonic Youth seen them play. Yeah. So Sonic Youth saw them play and they thought they were fucking shite. But they came back 2 weeks later and saw them again, and they were like, holy shit, like they're actually really good. We must have just caught them on a bad night. So they Sonic Youth brought Dinosaur Jr. on tour with them around the States for a bunch. That's 1986.
Why did they go and see them again?
Apparently everybody was just going to the same gigs.
Going to the same gigs, yeah.
There was just
last time we're going to have to go see this fucking dinosaur fucking band again.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh shit, hang on, that's not the same band, is it?
Yeah. So apparently that's what happened. There was gigs every night of the weekend and during the week as well. And on any given night, somebody from some big giant fucking band could be in the crowd, and you never knew who you were going to get. So like Thurston Moore or something, Thurston saw them and said, "Fucking like these guys are shite. That's absolute garbage." And then a couple of weeks later, season again goes, "Holy shit, we have to bring these guys with us." So on 1986, 1986, they bring them back out. Second album is called "You're Living All Over Me," and that did get released on SST Records. So they kind of fulfilled their dream. And this song, Little Fury Things, is off the album. The album is fucking fantastic. It's very, very, very good. I just wanted to mention Dinosaur Jr. because, like I said, I think they were one of the kind of unsung heroes of where one of the things that indie has evolved into, where it's how do I even put it? It's not simple music, but it's not overly complicated for the sake of it. It's like they're playing fucking open chords and weird diminished chords, but they're just throwing distortion on top of it. And it just eventually became like what this kind of new, kind of heavy indie style. I think there's a bunch of those fucking bands that evade me the name of them right now that are just they're definitely indie, but they have bits that are like holy shit, like that's bananas, like hardcore or metal almost. Where they break into these bits, we're like, fucking hell, that's heavy. Like, it's so dissonant and crazy. And fucking Dinosaur Jr. for me, but we're the band that kind of opened that up, or at least one of them anyway. Who is your next one?
Yeah, this is a difficult one for me because I wanted to start. Well, the other stuff I did pick that I did like, to be honest with you, but I didn't like it. There's loads of other stuff I want to put in here that I like way more, but they weren't big giant turning points in indie, or they weren't. The death of Britpop, it wasn't the start of 70s strokesy kind of stuff. Loads of stuff I wanted. So I really wanted to have PJ Harvey as my next person. But then I was thinking, God, indie doesn't really associate itself with solo artists. And then I thought to myself, hang on, PJ Harvey's not really indie. She's better than probably everyone I've picked on this list. But it would be wedging it in. And I wanted to talk about. Then I could have said, "Fuck, well, maybe I'll talk about the Yeah. And no, I don't. That wasn't a massive moment in thing. Yeah. Anyway, so I picked not only a band I don't really have a huge amount of love for, a type of indie I don't even have a huge amount of love for. But it's look at it. This is a retrospective. We have to talk about things that I found notable in thing. And this is first of all, I had Bon Iver, I think it's pronounced, picked for this, and I was like, God, I know even less about Bon Iver than the person I did pick, which is Arcade Fire. Arcade Fire is a huge thing that happened in mid 2000s indie music. Like they were the biggest thing in indie,
big time,
and they're certainly not one of my favorites. I would rather
that fucking song.
See, we talked about this before when we did I Just Don't Get It, the podcast I Just Don't Get It, and we tried to get ourselves into stuff. And I did actually enjoy the Arcade Fire stuff that I listened to, but it was exactly the kind of stuff that it was a better version of stuff I don't like. So do you know what I'm saying? Like if someone said to you, do you like tea? And you're like, no, bring it back to tea. But try this. It's really good version of this tea that you don't like. You try it, like, I can see what it is, but it's not really my thing.
It's just more of the thing I don't like. It might be better though if you're into that
thing. Better version of it, yeah. I was going to pick Bon Iver as well because the singer Justin Vernon, who did a lot of stuff with Kanye West on Yeezus and a few other stuff as well. I have a lot of time for him. I didn't even realise that he lived in Galway selling phones as well.
Really?
That's mad, yeah.
Didn't know that.
I don't know, Johnny Coachella or wherever the fuck he plays, Burning Man Festival, I don't know. I did like the Funerals album when I finally gave it a go. I remember there was a few bands we picked, and that was a good episode actually when we tried to get ourselves into bands that we thought had passed us by. I thought I was going to finally get properly into the Jesus and Mary chain. I was like, no,
this is it. It's going to happen.
I found a little bit more love for Manic Street Preachers and stuff. It was a cool episode, but Arcade Fire is one of the ones where I now have a different opinion. I think, oh, you know what? It is still a type of Coachella festival anthemic Vodafone ad music, but it's the better kind like that.
Which is hat music.
Yeah, so I think it was super important. Indie folk, is super important in the mid 2000s to mid 2010s, even up till now. To be perfectly honest with you, because there is still things going on. There's still huge things going on in indie folk. Like Big Thief are pretty good. I don't know, like Angel Olsen. I don't know if that's really considered.
Grandfather, aren't they another one? Granddaddy, yeah. Grandfather,
Granddaddy,
group, yeah. Grandfather's a hip hop group. Granddaddy.
Should do hip hop, more hip hop. We do.
We'll do another hip hop one at some time.
We'll do another hip hop. We have to do 90s.
We have to do 90s. That's going to be 700 songs long.
I know. I think I've strayed too far off the point of indie when I'm talking about like Angel Olsen, stuff like that, and PJ Harvey. But I really wanted to get someone that I really liked in here. But to be fair, I have liked the other stuff. So this is also the point, if I'm being honest with you, where I sort of checked out of indie. If I'm being honest, and I think it's going to show.
Yeah,
it's going to show when I pick this stuff. Bar maybe the last band I picked. So this is my second last choice, and I had to pick Arcade Fire because to skip over folk indie, which is
it's important, and it was huge. It was another
I appreciate
genre.
I appreciate the idea of it. It's indie folk. It's mad. It evolves. It involves loads extra members if you ever see that live, and all the different instruments from folk are used, and then they mix it a lot of times with electronic stuff, and it gets very arty. But I don't really like it. I appreciate it, but don't like it. It's not like something that I hate. It's not like fucking reggae or ska where I just don't think there's any redeeming value in it. No, that's not true. Well, yeah. So that's really. Like what else can I say about something that I find important but don't find interesting to listen to? Folk, indie folk, pop, indie folk, pop folk.
I think Arcade Fire are one of those kind of spikes kind of on the graph where it was like indie has always been almost an underground fucking thing. It was huge. We're talking about fucking REM selling 90 million albums. Like it was fucking huge. Some bands surpassed that kind of indie tag and just became household names. Arcade Fire were a household name for a year or two.
This was like the Pitchfork the band for a while. Do you know what I mean?
Much.
Like it really was.
There was another band that I can never fucking remember the bleeding name of that were kind of similar. It's not Modest Mouse. It's someone else in that fucking vein, and they were fucking so big for about 2-3 years. My brain is obviously just not switched on to me. I'll remember it, and I'll put it up onto the Facebook page a couple of days after this comes out, because I definitely will remember. And
it's someone someone that sounds like Arcade Fire.
Yeah. It was like a fucking. I can't remember. I know they were a bit like Decemberists as well, and that kind of jangly, folky, sing-alongy type of way. Like,
right.
I mean, this song in particular, this Arcade Fire song in particular, this is. When it's got that fucking bit that a fucking dog could sing, and then it kind of kicks in, and then and then it kicks into the fucking dum 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 dum, the Tom Jones bit and shit. You know,
it's a well written song. It's just
but there was so much of this, and like you said, it's absolute kind of festival music. It's just the sun,
I think
down.
I was too old and grumpy, and I was too still into OK Computer. Who's your next one?
My last one is one of the most important ones. I had to put them on. It was Sonic Youth.
Yeah, so this is like I suppose this is your continuation from REM.
Yeah, so Sonic Youth, I picked out a song Candle, which is off, what the fuck is this off? Daydream Nation, this is off. Formed in New York City again in 1981. Formed out with there was a little thing that happened called the No Wave scene, and it was, how do you even describe it? There wasn't that many bands involved, and it was like this weird avant-garde kind of art style of music that would have definitely taken cues from Velvet Underground.
Oh yeah. I was about to say Velvet Revolver again. I'm pretty sure I've had full-on conversations with people where I've dropped in Velvet Revolver instead of thinking like stuff that was happening in the late 70s and 60s and stuff like Velvet Revolver, like what, getting born? No, they weren't. They were. I
definitely have done. I've done that before. So yeah, like the No Wave thing kind of came out with this weird kind of arty, farty, fucking scene where there was another resurgence of what had happened with the Velvet Underground in the late 60s, early 70s, where, you know, music was important again to artists, and the art students were back making fucking weird music and shit. Now, what's on Sonic Youth? Sonic Youth were kind of famous for, like, they could play their instruments, and they all had a million fucking side projects. And kind of Sonic Youth just kind of eventually just kind of happened out of all these side projects. But what they were doing is they were buying shitty guitars. It's one of the things Sonic Youth are kind of famous for, is for buying like really crap equipment and modifying it themselves. So what they do is they'd like, you know, they'd buy a shitty $80 guitar. Now an $80 guitar will always sound like an $80 guitar. You know what I mean? It's never going to sound great. You know, even if you cover it in distortion and whatever the fuck.
We don't want it to sound good, man.
That was kind of their gimmick. So what they were doing is they were like drilling holes into like shitty guitars.
Speed holes, yeah.
Yeah. And what they do is they'd stick like drumsticks underneath between the fretboard and the strings and use them almost as a capo, you know? And they'd be playing and they'd be moving the drumstick up and down to get these mad fucking noises, these screeches and shit over. And people start paying attention to them. Now, they, I think, self-funded their first ever European tour and done real well in Europe. Done a lot better in Europe than they did back in the States. And I think it might have been their first or second European tour, but their first time ever playing England, they played in London, and apparently it was a fucking disaster, like a fucking disaster.
We didn't want it to be good, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop saying that now. I'm going to stop doing an impression of what I think Sonic Youth sounded like in the 80s.
Yeah. So apparently, like fucking, amps were blowing up and strings were breaking. It was just absolute like equipment malfunction.
Apparently, they were one of the most nauseatingly loud bands.
Yeah, they were supposed to be disgraceful. Like
they make a show. They make a show of Manowar. Like,
yeah, I'd heard that 1,000 times that they were just, you can't.
Like, you're in there and like you first of all, you can't talk to anyone at the gig, but I like that. But when you can feel inside of your chest ripping.
Okay, I was at some gigs a couple of times where it was too much, man. And every time you go to a gig where it's too loud, it's always the band's own sound engineer. If they use the house engineer, he knows the crack. He knows what.
Yeah, he doesn't want to have to come into work the next day and
fix
repair a load of stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. So apparently this gig in London was an absolute disaster, absolute malfunction. Everything broke, and fucking Thurston got real fucking pissed off, and he started smashing all the equipment. He smashed guitars, smashed amps. He real proper fucked off. So he was like, "This is bullshit. Like, fucking first ever time playing in London. This is a big deal for us, and this is all fucking happened." Now apparently, what happened out of this is they got amazing reviews out of like NME and fucking Sounds magazine and stuff that leaked back to the States.
I think it's the fact that they didn't play that made it sound even greater. Do you know, man? Like, yeah, like this is the same thing. Sometimes music critics can't admit. Like, no, to be honest with you, maybe it was amazing. Maybe that kind of raw energy was amazing, but I sometimes don't believe it, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm with you on that as well.
Like, but do you know what? Like, imagine like they just didn't turn up to the gig and it still got a great review.
Yeah,
that could happen.
That could absolutely happen.
The lack of presence is what I liked.
Well, Sonic Youth have put they put a song out called Silence. That is like 4 minutes of silence. You know what I mean? They're that type of band. So yeah, word got back to the States that like they were fucking doing Savage in Europe, and this gig in London was fucking batshit mad, and all the journals that were there were writing Savage reviews saying this is absolutely primal, like fucking insane. So when they get back to the States, and all of a sudden they're kind of a big deal. They end up signing to SST Records, which, like I said, is one of the big labels that all of these kind of indie and noise bands wanted to be on. SST would just let you do whatever the fuck you wanted and wouldn't get involved. Now, after a while, I got pain in the bollocks for that, and they start kind of shopping themselves around to other labels. Now, one of the weird things I found out was that the band have a weird fascination with Madonna.
So do I. It's not that weird, though.
But like, would you think that like a band like Sonic Youth would have a fascination with Madonna?
Yes, in the same sense that Morrissey would have a fascination with like Nancy Sinatra.
Maybe.
I see it like that. Yeah.
But like, this is the 80s.
No, and the gas thing is, and the same way that like they released, like, was it them that released the fucking Carpenters cover album?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing, though. Here's where I'll give them credit. I don't think it's even remotely ironic.
No, I don't think irony's really in it. I don't think they have a tongue-in-cheek mode.
I think they can grab onto something that they feel is part of pop culture, that they don't have to slag, that they didn't get influenced by and they liked it, and they can latch on and they give them a little card to say, you're okay.
I suppose when you think about it, like, Sonic Youth kind of jumped from having these mad kind of noise dissonance fucking banana songs to having like mad cool poppy cool things style fucking songs.
I think sometimes as well that they allow themselves to have a piece of their childhood untainted by their own anger.
Yeah, possibly. But,
I don't know. I just know I love Madonna, and I also listen to Carcass. I don't go.
Yeah. The only thing that made that confuses me about the whole thing is that they would have been doing the rounds at the same time as Madonna. This would be like System of a Down.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah.
System of a Down turning around saying that we really, really love Britney Spears. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I put it into that format, I'm like, this is just fucking weird. I get someone now going, oh, we fucking love Madonna. You know
I bet you at some stage they tried to get a song together. I'd say your man Thurston was like, get Madonna. I want to do a song with Madonna.
Maybe. Because they've done a load of Madonna cover songs. They even started a little side project named after her real name, Capuccio, or whatever her real fucking name is, called Sonic Capuccio or something. Just playing covers of her songs. It's real weird. Now, again, that could have been an arty-farty thing. Who fucking knows? Eventually, they jumped label. They ended up on Geffen. They stayed with Geffen for fucking years. And then they get a pain in the bollocks with Geffen. And then they start their own record label. And so what they start doing with this new record label is they start releasing like singles and EPs and what they call video albums, where they get all the mad weird shit just out of their system. So they get to release kind of not poppy albums, but accessible albums to the average
it's
folk.
mad that you consider the weird stuff the popular stuff, because in my head I was like, even weirder than like Sonic Youth stuff. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
they get everything out of their system. Yeah, that used to be like kind of what people would do with fan clubs. They'd record an EP and go, "Well, don't put this out."
Yeah, Rocket from the Crypt. Rocket from the Crypt are famous for having like one of the only record deals ever signed, where they signed to like Warner or whoever the fuck it was. But every single that they released and every EP and stuff like that, they got to choose what record label would put it out. So the label that they signed to, Warner, whoever the fuck it was, they got the albums. But the singles off the albums, they could choose. I think the way it would work is that Warner were able to put the singles out themselves as well, but they could also repackage them for other like small, tiny independent labels.
Deadly. That's cool.
So that's why the song much.
Maybe even stick a different B-side on a different.
That's what they done. They were focused for it, and that's why there's so many Rock from the Crypt fucking singles and EPs. Like if you're a Rock from the Crypt collector, like your job is never.
It's a nightmare.
It is. They did release a thing called the Rocket Pack, and there's only like 10 of them made. It was for the crew on a tour, and to this day, it's still one of the most expensive things you'll ever find on like Discogs, where it's like a couple of 7 inches, a belt buckle in this box set, and it was only like 15, 20 of them or something like that made for the crew on this one particular tour. And whenever they pop up on Discogs, like people start going fucking mad.
I'm going to do that whenever I release my album. I'm going to have a big belt buckle, and just for the crew of just me.
You.
What I'm trying to say is I'm going down to Penny's to buy myself a new belt tomorrow. That's the same thing.
I also need a new belt. So a couple of years ago, they had like 30 instruments stolen while they were on tour. And this is a big deal. It's a big deal for them because they were so into fucking weird tunings that they'd always be swapping guitars. So like they could have like 24 instruments sitting on the stage ready for them. So they do like 2 songs that were in one tune and drop that guitar, grab another one. Same would go for a fucking bass.
Imagine someone bringing it into a pawn shop. The pawn shop guy is, I don't know, maybe he's not quite awake yet. He goes, that guitar's got holes in it.
It's a screwdriver.
It's not even in tune. Hang on, I can't even put this in tune. I'm not taking this.
Yeah. Like, they used to bolt screwdrivers into the headstocks and into the body so they could bend the shitty guitars to get weird noises out of them and shit. But yeah, 30 of these were stolen. I think they may have got like 12 of them back over time. But
just through like
putting out rewards and tracking them down. They got 12 back because they wanted to record another album after they got all their instruments back. So there was a big deal where when the instruments were robbed, they had to go off and buy new stuff, and they put out an album and it sounded real weird because they didn't have their tools to try it. So people were like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, we want all the weird shit back.
Imagine though, the horrible problem with that is when they get their insurance check for those guitars, it's like
for nothing. Yeah, it's for nothing.
Like, hang on, it's like, what's your payment? It's not what they. Yeah, I don't know. You probably could review them, or you could insure them as Sonic Youth guitars and not just as the Argos, the Square.
Exactly. Yeah, more than likely. Now, Thurston Moore and Kim Gordon were married for 27 years, right?
That's right.
All throughout the kind of not formation, but the body of fucking Sonic Youth, and it was around 2015 that they announced that they had kind of split up. And Thurston Moore said, listen, we're just on hiatus, we'll figure it out in a while. And then I think they had like a stand-in drummer who was like, oh no, we fuck him out, I don't know what's going on. And then Kim Gordon released a book and she just said, listen, it's fucking broke the fuck up, like, you know, we ain't getting back together again.
I think they were on our podcast, We Are Never Getting Back Together.
Yes.
Bands that we don't think.
Quite possibly.
we never checked on which ones did. So Rage Against the Machine did.
Yeah.
That's it though. I think we're still doing pretty well on that.
I think we've got an 11 out of 12 ratio.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. Yeah. But yeah, so they're done now. Chances are they won't get back together again. I think they're getting fucking.
That's a pretty big one. Like, if that was Cocktail Twins, they got divorced and then they broke up and they never. The Coachella, that's what I said earlier. That was a divorce as well. They were on our podcast, never getting back together. So yeah, they are. Sonic Youth or not?
I doubt it. To be honest, there's enough.
They release some stuff.
They might have. I think they're one of those bands that probably have like 1,000 songs sitting in a vault somewhere. You know what I mean? I always get that feeling that one of those. Yeah. Anyway, that was Sonic Youth. That was my last one. So who was your last one?
Well, here we are. It's the last song. And I was doing things chronologically, sort of retrospective of things. So here we are. we are at now
Mm.
in indie, and I'm the wrong man to ask about this. To be perfectly honest with you, because like I said, I was jumping out in 2010s, going, it's gone very fucking. Now there's loads of stuff that's considered indie that I loved from those times, but were they big monster things? So I don't know if this is considered a big giant turning point in indie right now. I know that on the way here we had good albums like what I consider good anyway, like The War on Drugs, Lost in the Dream. It's kind of anthemic, almost Bruce Springsteen-y kind of stuff. Black Keys, Kurt Vile, Alabama Shakes. I'm kind of skipping over a whole decade here. Look,
That's going to happen. We've got 12 songs to do this. So.
Yeah, we're at the very end. So I chose a band that I think is now what I consider the example of in what indie heads are listening to now, that is sort of different and changing and has changed and evolved into this. So I picked Idols' Never Fight a Man with a Perm, but they're too post-punky, and it was wrong. They're too post-punky. So they're too far removed from indie, I think, for me to be comfortably putting them on the list.
Yeah.
So I went with a popular modern Irish band, a popular Irish indie band. And it's not Fontaines DC, it's girl band. It's girl band.
Yeah. Fontaines, I think, would definitely fit into the indie bracket, I think.
They would way more, but I'm not picking them.
Yeah.
I picked girl band because I think, like, Fontaines DC to me haven't done anything that has made me go, what the fuck is this? They're just singing
it definitely has.
Well, it has, yeah. Like, I will say this though. I know we were going to do a review of the album. It's redundant. It's pointless.
Yeah.
I really liked Niall Nine's podcast on it, where Andrea said everything I was going to say. So it felt you were not in the humour eventually either of doing it. Both of us were like,
we announced it and all. I put on the Patreon saying that we're going to do this tomorrow.
Do it, but I don't want to. We didn't have enough good to say about it. Apart from that song, fucking Lucid Dream, which is such a great song.
You like that? Anyway, I like that No song. I like that the last song on it as well.
Yeah. So I picked girl band because that's slightly closer to indie than Idols is. They're like Idols in a lot of way with the tongue-in-cheek song titles, but then this brutal, unnerving fucking parts of their sound. But girl band especially been really unnerving. Like that album sounds like what does it sound like?
Yeah.
I don't know. If something like that was recorded in Arkham Asylum trying to do an indie album, it's just bananas. Like it's really
bizarre,
great. Talkie, it's 2000, so last year. It's not a quintessentially Irish album.
No,
it's not a quintessential indie album. But I still feel like somehow this is where indie has ended up. And the people that I know that are mad into indie are mad into Idols.
Yeah,
but they're also, for me, again, I can't pick Idols in this.
Everyone I know that's into Idols is into girl band as well.
Like they're not a million miles away from each other in terms of feel. But I listen to Idols and I'm like, I get it. I get loads of it. It's deadly. But there's loads of it I don't get. And I haven't figured out why. So there's no point me trying now in the middle of a podcast what is not getting me with. But I know when I first heard the new single of girl band, I tried with girl band a few years ago. And for whatever reason, I couldn't do it. And then I tried their Shoulder Blade single, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then when the album came out, I listened to the whole album in one. The way it was supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be listened to as a whole album. It's not really. They're not a fucking singles band. But it really made way more sense to me. And I was like, right, this definitely has a touch of indie in it. And I can see where indie heads are going to flock to this. It's sarcastic. It's humorous. It's... like you can hear stuff in it. Like you can hear the words like Dutch gold coming through the fucking madness that is it. So I don't know. People may or may not disagree that that's where indie has ended up for me in the likes of Idols and girl band.
Definitely.
Even possibly Fontaines DC, which is just more safer and more slightly less real. To be honest with you, it's slightly more contrived. Bringing in the old Dublin, selling that. I love that girl band. It's only ever done in tongue-in-cheek way when you hear stuff about Dublin or Ireland or in that they are, they're just a different...
It's a different animal altogether.
It is a different animal. So that, I'm not, like I said, you can tell the moment I jumped out of indie. You really can.
Yeah,
we
definitely
too much. We've a lot to be listening to. Guys. We're fucking men of the world. Like,
for me, indie is definitely like an 80s, mostly 80s, partially 90s thing. And if I know that indie has evolved, and I know that like alternative music has evolved. Because when I think alternative music, I instantly go to like Smashing Pumpkins, instantly, and like that's in the bracket, but it's definitely fucking heavier. It's definitely more rocky, but like
I know
the way I look at this indie thing is, I look at it as the cage that a million things live in, much the same as metal. You know, like when people say, like, do you like? I love metal. So do you like fucking Burzum and Quiet Riot? You know, because they're a million miles away from each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they're still metal. You know what I mean? It's definitely more of a set of guidelines, or no, guidelines is wrong. It's definitely about its roots of that style, much the same as like blues kind of leading to rock and roll, leading to metal. Like you can track it back, you know. And
it was we set ourselves an impossible task with this.
Oh yeah, very much so. But it's something that should be talked about.
So it's obviously I don't know if we can do a volume 2 of this. What's the point?
No
point. So we packed it in solidly.
There's an awful lot of information into that one.
I hope we at least cheekily mentioned bands that we didn't put in, and we got a few in there, like White Stripes were talked about.
A few little
put in
digs, band. We got Suede in there. We got a few little digs.
Charlotte, got PJ Harvey, and we got a
load of little digs we got thrown in. But anyway, that's it for this week. We're back again next week with another delicious podcast.
Just before we go, there's one thing I have to say. I was thinking earlier, indie can't die, but one thing that needs to die, and it's come back again, is the term and the sentence that needs to go. And music magazines don't really say it. People like fucking newspapers say it, like the Irish Independent. Guitar bands are back.
Yeah.
That sentence needs to die in a big giant fire.
Yeah.
They never left. They never have left.
Yeah.
Just mega popular ones. Like the amount of times I've read it about, I'm not shitting on Fontaines DC, it's nothing to do with them. They're a guitar band. They listen to guitar bands. They always played guitar music.
Yeah.
But here's guitar bands are back. Fuck off.
And I was whenever I have a love-hate
Waltons will be delighted that they're going to sell some guitars again.
Yeah, the Waltons don't even exist anymore, do they? They're online.
They do, yeah.
Do they? Where are they?
I don't know if they're still in Blanche, but they had a big one in Blanche.
Oh, did they? Fucking hell.
Yeah, they were.
I have a love-hate relationship with that guitar music kind of sentence. Like it's like it didn't really go anywhere. Not really. It might have waned in popularity a tiny bit, but it's not.
It only waned out of the maximum popularity for a minute.
Like it went from like 110% to like 99.9 for fucking like 2 years, but it was still fucking huge. But whenever I hear that, it always sounds like somebody's answering something that Kanye West said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you know,
what he sounds like something he would say as well, possibly.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to throw that in there because I remember thinking I have to mention that at the end of this podcast at some stage. that sentence needs to go in the big fire.
All right. Anyway, folks, we're back again next week. You want to support us? You can go to co-fi.com/Lost Art Podcast. The links are on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Lost Art Podcast, or you can subscribe and support us every single month on Patreon.
The best one. That's the one.
Most. Patreon.com/Lost Art Podcast. All the links are up on lostartpodcast.com. We are doing we're doing a TV show this week. This coming out on Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll have a fresh, delicious live TV show for you on Saturday night. The event is up on the Facebook page. Go click attend and share it. Tell the people. We took a break last week because we were having fucking technical issues and it's a pain in the bollocks.
And it wrecked the flow.
So you start getting into the first hour, you're like, yeah, this is fucking deadly. Let's go, go. And
it's the same for the listeners or the viewers as well.
I'm sure it is. Like fucking listen, streaming live the way we're doing it. Finally, now we have a suite of software that is better than Mixlr. It's just not as stable as Mixlr for some reason. But Mixlr's only doing fucking half of what this new software does. But because we've so much invested in it, we've got multiple cameras and multiple microphones. We even have Steph is there helping us, giving us a dig out.
He's been brilliant. He's been fucking brilliant.
And he's doing all the cameras and the fucking mixing desks. There's mixing desks everywhere and cameras and cables and fucking laptops and cooling pads and fucking cables hanging out of ceilings and lights. It's a nightmare. And then you're in it and you're fucking on it. And even last week we had a guest in. We had Al from Ronco and we're having great fun. And then all of a sudden, boom. boom, some random.
In the middle of that amazing quiz. Sorry, I don't mean to be amazing because I made it.
Bit of it, but it was the best bit of the show. We were having great crack.
That so much because it was wrecking the both of your heads, and I just reveled in yours.
Exactly, and then something goes wrong on the fucking laptop because it's not. I didn't overheat, but something fucking random that's never happened on like the laptop that won't die. Something fucking weird happens.
Don't say that.
Yeah, something fucking happens and it dies, and that's the second week in a row. So we're going out and we're buying a fucking desktop, a big powerhouse of a machine that, fingers crossed, will do the job. I even want to add an extra camera in. We've a load of plans, and we want to do it correctly. And
you're anytime you go to the coffee site and give us £3 or sign up to Patreon, it fucking really helps. You know what? So does like everyone's fucked for money at the moment. Well, you know what I mean? Like, that'll be just share it out, just do something. If you like the podcast, keep it alive, keep everything alive that you like, man. It's fucking
Exactly, and I'm not getting smashed up like I did the last one either, because I kept drinking that. I kept drinking that whiskey, and I was on fucking fire for the last.
I was like, man, I haven't seen someone do shots of whiskey on live TV ever. Well, it's like live TV, internet TV.
I drank half that bottle, man, and I had to be put in a taxi, and I had to go home, and I had to be put into bed. It was a fucking disaster. You left, and I DJ'd for another 10 minutes.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently I just kept going, and I played fucking John Farnham and everything, I think. I don't know what I was doing. Talking into the microphone. So I was on fire. I can't do that anymore. So that put manners on me. So I'm going to fucking set myself. It's a 4-hour show, and I'm going to buy like 5 cans of beer. And that way, like every 40 minutes or something, I'll have a can of beer and I'll be fine. And I'm only buying pissy beer. Because last week I fucked up as well. And I bought another bottle of Westmalle that's 10%. And
Westmalle and whiskey is...
and whiskey.
It's a combo.
But then I bought a load of these weird fucking pina colada IPAs that I thought were like 4%. They were all 8-9%. So even without the whiskey, I would have been on fire. So thank God it's not recorded, to put it that way. If you missed out on it, you fucking missed out. But listen, we're back this Saturday. Well, lovely, clean, fucking family-friendly show from definitely. Whatever, 9 o'clock till fucking 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever the fuck we're going to do. The link is on Facebook. Do us a favour, share it out. We will talk to you again next week, folks. Thank you very much.
Thanks. See ya.